Hey, I'm Thatcher, the founder of Juniper Books. I had a really fun conversation a few days ago with V. Schwab. She's a best-selling author, and we collaborated on book jackets for the Shades of Magic series. We talked about a whole bunch of things, and I hope you enjoy our conversation. So let's talk a little bit more about Darker Shades of Magic and our collaboration.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm like over the moon excited. This is the first time I've seen them in person.
Oh, wow.
I saw the designs, obviously, as they were coming together through many iterations, but I am in love with this so much.
So we can talk a little bit more about how we got to this
Yeah.
point and where we're going from here, and hopefully sharing it with the world.
Yeah.
And as many people as possible having these on their shelves.
I would love to.
But how did we first connect?
I was a massive fan of Juniper Books
Okay.
on Instagram. I think I came across the site, and I'm an aesthetically driven person.
Mm-hmm.
I have bookshelves, and those bookshelves, like I just moved from Nashville to Scotland, and I transported, many thousands of books with me. And my MO is that I like to create a rainbow with all of my books. And I do this because I almost never reread. And so my books become a physical art. They just become a form of decoration. So like a lot of readers freak out when they find out that I arrange things by color. And I'm like, but for me, it's art now. And I can still tell, I can find a book on the shelf if I need it, but I need something that greets me as a kind of art. And that's one of the things that I loved about the Juniper Books aesthetic and the Instagram is you started to see books as artifact and as art as well. And so I had followed it for quite a while and just basically like stalked it and liked it. And obviously the Shades of Magic readership is passionate and wonderful. And you guys sometimes do a specific edition when someone orders it. And I think one of my readers had ordered a Shades of Magic special edition for themselves, and they had posted it and you had reposted it, and it came to my attention. And I lost my mind. I thought it was the coolest thing I had ever seen. So I reposted it, and instantaneously upon my reposting it, the questions begin to come in, where can I get this? And the thing about the Shades of Magic readership is they are not only a passionate readership, they are collectors. They have like these whole bookcases in which they collect foreign editions, they collect multiple editions, they collect pop figurines that people have, created, and art, and they are, just as Shades of Magic is an aesthetic series, about color and about shape, I feel like the readership really loves this. And yeah, there were just many questions of people saying, I want this, and I didn't have an answer to it, so I reached out and I said, Juniper, this is beautiful. Is there anything we can do to get it into other readers' hands? Because there's clearly a demand here, and I feel like that was the door that opened onto having this collaboration and this discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like the fun thing about social media and
yeah.
being able to reach out to authors and publishers and do these collaborations and stuff. It's super fun for us when we have this opportunity, and then to really have you be passionate about providing your input. So you had
I'm an
design
involved
background.
person. Yeah.
You had design background as well.
I do. So I said I started out in astrophysics, and I lasted about a semester before I got bored and started changing my major around 6 times. And where I ended up was in book design, and specifically in graphic design and typography as it related to books, a skill which I almost never use except to be frustrated, because as an author, you very rarely have creative control over your covers. But over the last few years, my publishers have begun to listen to my input more and more, because I try to listen to my own gut. And I feel like I was always a better art director than I was an artist. I can always tell when something just doesn't quite feel right. It's weirdly one of the skills you learn as a writer when you're editing, is to start listening to that feeling that says, this is just a little bit off. And so, yeah, I was really, really thankful that you were willing to have this be a truly collaborative experience, where it wasn't just a matter of what looks nice, but what most accurately reflects the worlds of the series. Because my readers, as I'm sure you've discovered, are very detail-oriented readers, and I love them for that. But I knew that if, in order to have this be a project that I could really stand behind, I would need to have creative input on it. Yeah.
So what was that process like? We had a few early designs, and our designer Caitlin, and you were in touch and trading.
It was
concepts
exciting,
back and forth.
and it was hard. I feel like we had like 5 or 6 early designs, and I could see the merits of all of them. And then it became a matter not only of what looks nice, but what is different from what we already have. So I knew I didn't want to light palette design because the original editions of A Darker Shade of Magic in the United States are very white, very pale. And so I knew I wanted something different from there. I wanted something that embodied all 4 Londons. And so I was like, there's so much creative space with this world. I really wanted us to find something that hadn't been done. Something that a Shades of Magic fan could say, I don't have anything that really scratches that aesthetic itch. And so I feel like it was not only a process of what looks good and what looks strongest, but what is unique and what is new. And this comes from one of the earlier designs, and I was so drawn to the cityscapes being done in direct and in inverse, and I loved it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so the worlds you visualize, like in your writing, like you can picture them.
Yeah.
And do you feel like the jackets kind of add another way to?
I mean, that's the thing about jacket art.
Yeah.
Is like jacket art is not only the first way that most readers engage with a product, but it really is meant to reflect something about the world.
Right.
And so I do feel like there's an immense responsibility that jacket art has. It's really hard, and we see it work both ways. We see terrible jackets really kind of curse books. In some ways, we see beautiful jackets elevate them. I think there's nothing more unfortunate when a jacket doesn't accurately represent any of the work that's inside of it, because even if it's a good jacket, then it's not quite doing its job. As an author, it's very scary because we have almost no creative say. And so like, even though the first things that you engage with are the jacket cover and the copy, like on the inside flap, authors almost never get to say what that looks like. So the thing that a person is picking up in a store or seeing online, that first impression, it's hard that we don't have that first impression. It's weird when you create a product and your impression is the 3rd or 4th or 5th thing that they notice. I mean, sometimes authors don't even control the title. You know, like I've had so many books retitled. Ironically, A Darker Shade of Magic is like title number 75. But one of the weirdest things about being an author is you do not control which of your things is most successful.
Right.
You put the same amount of energy into all of them, and you never control which one takes off, which one reaches which audience, which one has the largest commercial appeal. They're just not in your control. There are so many factors. And so no, I had no idea. I just wanted to write something for me, and it's gone on to be something really, really special across 25 countries, and now with the film and development. And yeah, I think, and I don't get lost in that. Like I never stop and think, wow, I'm so cool. This is going so well. Like my focus is on what's next. My focus is on making sure that I'm putting my energy where I can control it. And for me, that is writing the next book. The next book I was going to say the Shades of Magic series, but I think the next book is this was Shades of Magic, these 3. And then the next 3 are called Threads of Power.
Okay.
So the series will continue with 3 more books. It is a direct sequel, but it's set 7 years after the end of Conjuring of Light. Okay. And so you have the main cast from the Shades of Magic series. Everyone who survives Shades of Magic becomes kind of the secondary cast in Threads of Power, and we get a few new characters who will be our new, I hate to say leads, because they are truly ensemble series. I mean, if Kel is the main character of A Darker Shade of Magic, Lila is the main character of A Gathering of Shadows, Rye and Holland are the main characters of Conjuring of Light. Like, I try not to think about it as who is the lead, but I will say that they're not just cameos. Like, if there's a character you loved and they survive Shades of Magic, they will play a very pivotal role in Threads of Power. So yeah, I think that's equal parts exciting and terrifying for me to return to this thing, which obviously when I started writing it, had no idea it was going to reach as many people, and now I'm aware of the size of the audience, and the stakes get raised a little bit with every book. But at the end of the day, the only job I have is to write the best book I can. As an author, you write a book, and for the period of time that you're writing the book, it's yours. And the moment that it's published, it's not yours, it's ours. It's like you're handing that book to a reader, and half of the experience becomes the reader's now, not yours. And a lot of authors chafe under this idea. They want it to still be theirs, but you're entering from a monologue into a dialogue. You're having a conversation, and you as the author will only ever be able to control half of that conversation. And so I love it. I love seeing readers interpret and engage with and have their own opinions about and spin out fan canons and spin out theories. It's very exciting for me.
Yeah, cool. And then so people like read the books, and then they put their books on the shelves, and now they can make them, even nicer on the shelves.
Yeah. And I think
but
it's important to say that you can buy the books
Yep.
with the set on them. So you can go to Juniper Books and you can buy, if you haven't bought the hardcovers of this series yet, you can buy the whole set and it will come to you looking like this with the books and the jackets. Or, yeah, and these are the books that you're getting underneath, which is the classic original white edition. Or if you already have the classic original white edition and you're like, why do I need to buy another set of books? I completely sympathize with that. You can go to Juniper Books and you can just get the jackets and they will come and then you can put them on your own books and set it on your shelf.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. So thanks so much.
Of course,
yeah,
thank
and
you.
So the books with the jackets are going to be $150.
Yes.
And then the jackets on their own are $30.
Yeah, so if you already have the books, you just want the jacket, it's $30. They are also like beautiful, soft matte touch quality. Like I love them.
Yeah, they're, since what we do is very unique and kind of bespoke and printed, to order largely. We invest a lot in like the R&D on the materials and the laminate, so it has like a really nice touch. It's very different from a publisher's, like a store jacket.
And I've been to
more like an
Juniper
art print,
and seen like it's one person like folding the cover very meticulously around each one with like a bone folder and like making sure that each one's perfect. Like there's just a lot of love that goes into it. There's a lot of, I put a lot of love into the books, readers put a lot of love into the series, and I feel like what you're doing is an extension of that. You're putting a lot of love into the artifact, into the collector concept of it.
Yeah, it's all for the love of books.
Yeah, great.
Cool, thank you.
you.
Yeah, this was a pleasure.
Awesome.